You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you tri freaks and geeks, and welcome to another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon, the podcast where we go long on the art of endurance, learn a little bit of Zen along the way to help us become better people. Okay, we have a little buffet of topics today. We've got a trick where you can keep your bottles for your training cave from getting all gunked up, and also keep them organized, keep them from getting dirty and nasty. And also why I have been skipping wearing a heart rate strap lately on purpose, and the effect that it's having on my workouts that's a better effect, and why I'm doing that. It's really interesting. And then also the trick I learned a few years ago on how to keep little tails and fingers of your pets and children's out of your spokes if you're riding the bike indoors. We got all that and also a bunch of triathlon news. So let's go ahead and kick that off right now. Here we go. So the biggest news overall in the Ironman industry is that Javier Gomez has, I don't know if exactly you would call it announced, but in an interview with a Spanish newspaper, magazine, sports column, website, whatever we do now, media, that he is planning on doing Ironman this year, Ironman Hawaii, Ironman Kona. He's already done a whole bunch of half Ironmans, but moving up to the full distance, and will probably be on site and racing for Ironman Kona for the championship. Now, who is Javier Gomez? If you don't know, he is lethal out there. He is one of these guys that came from the Olympic ITU, International Triathlon Union circuit, and these guys and girls are stupid fast, like unbelievably fast. They have to slow themselves down to go Ironman pace, slow themselves down a lot. And Javier Gomez is already the half Ironman distance champion. And I forgot what, 1 year or 2 years. When Jan Frodeno showed up from this exact same background, he just wiped the field clean with his skill set. Just absolutely amazing. So now we've got another one. So this would be the opposite background of somebody like Lionel Sanders, who discovered the sport later in life, figured out he was really good at it, and has been slowly getting better and better. These ITU guys are trained from a very young age. They're like kung fu monks, trained from age 6 to be phenomenal at this sport. And it's been an Olympic sport for a while now. And yeah, these guys and girls are just absolutely amazing. And people always predicted when these people start getting older and want to start slowing down a little bit, they're not so sharp in the speed department, that they're gonna start dropping bombs all over the long distance division, and that's what we're getting right now. This is pretty crazy. So we're gonna have Javier Gomez, and probably Jan Frodeno next year, and Lionel Sanders, Patrick Lange is going to be all out there. So that's going to be absolutely fascinating. It's going to be super cool to watch. Okay, and the other big piece of, it's not quite as big because it's really just a sponsor change, but it is interesting. Andy Potts is routinely one of the fastest Americans at Hawaii at Kona, and he is switching bike sponsors. He's gotten a lot of flack over the years about his choices for equipment and stuff like that. And I think he's one of these guys that came from just being an age grouper and then just got faster and faster and faster. And he, his bike has been the Cannondale Slice. I think that's the full name of it, Cannondale Slice, which is kind of aero, but it's also just kind of lightweight. And so it's less aero and just thin. Like the tubing is really thin. And, as a pro, you really don't have choices in you can only take the sponsors that present themselves to you. So you can only, you say like you should pick a better bike, more aero bike. Well, that's only like 50% up to you, maybe. You've got to take what, comes your way. And but Andy Potts is really, really good. And he's a little bit older. So I think he's 40, 41, 42. Maybe, I don't know. He's somewhere in his 40s. And he switched bike sponsors from Cannondale to the brand Ceepo. And Ceepo is not a very big brand. It's probably a lot smaller than Cannondale. Ceepo is how it's spelled. But man, Ceepo makes some beautiful bikes and probably a lot more aero, probably. And before we get into more about the bike, he also joined up with Wati Inc. And Wati Inc., and I'm saying that on purpose so you know what I'm saying. You usually say Wati, but it's Wattie, is I don't even really know what Wati Inc. is. It's like a team and a clothing company. It's kind of this ambiguous thing. And it's based on Heather. You may be more familiar. Heather Jackson is she was, I think, fastest American female at Kona. She's really good. And I forgot what kind of bike she rides. But I know she rides Knight composite wheels. But her boyfriend, maybe husband now, is all tattooed up and looks it. He looks the part of like, I don't know, kind of like a rapper, the wide flat hat brim and ears tucked up into his hat and covered in tattoos and stuff like that. And Heather Jackson also has a bunch of tattoos. And so the ink, Wati Ink, the ink is the tattoo ink. And then Wati is her boyfriend's nickname of sorts. And so it's really like his company. But I like them both a lot. Heather Jackson's like super, super cool, super laid back, super nice. I don't know that much about Wati, but I know because he's probably like a top age grouper maybe at one point, but I don't think he might have been a pro, but not like super successful pro, and went into the business side of triathlon instead, and just invested in his girlfriend, who is phenomenal. Heather Jackson is absolutely phenomenal, and that's a smart thing to do sometimes. And you work on the business and partner up with somebody that you're close to, and invest your time in them if they're showing more promise in the speed department, and help them be fast. And then you can work together. So Heather Jackson is obviously on this Wati Inc. team, but Wati Inc. is like this big team that you can join up. They have a little bit of a culture of tattoos, and somebody's named it like the lifestyle. I forgot how they phrased it, but it's I don't think you necessarily have to be like that whatsoever. It's just fun, and they got cool graphics and logos and stuff on their stuff, and a lot of people like being on teams, and you can be part of this team and get your culture and everything from there. So Andy Potts got sponsorship or joined up with Wati Inc., which is funny because Andy Potts is not the all tattooed up type, but Andy Potts does have a tattoo, and I've seen it. I saw it in person when I was doing Alcatraz. I saw this guy using rubber bands the giant rubber bands to stretch out his arms for his swim, and he had the Olympic rings tattooed on the underside of his arm. And I thought, I wonder if that's Andy Potts. And that's before I knew much about Andy Potts. And it was. I think he won that day. I think that was in 2011. But anyway, so Andy Potts does have tattoos, and it's from the Olympics. Andy Potts was not in the Olympics for triathlon. He was in the Olympics for swimming. I think he swam for Michigan. Okay, so this is a whole lot about Andy Potts switching some sponsors, or picking up a sponsor and switching from Cannondale to SIPO. And back to Andy's technical choices before, the funniest bad equipment choice that Andy Potts has ever made is gator skin tires. Gator skin tires, if you're riding them, you should know that they are so slow compared to Continental Grand Prix, was it 5,000, 2,000? Anyway, Continental Grand Prix, that you could stop and have a flat and change it on your Continental Grand Prix and still be faster than how slow the gator skins make you. And so people armchair quarterback the Kona like so badly. I mean, even I do it. I try not to do it, and still I do it. That they saw gator skin written on his tires, on Andy Potts tires years ago, and people were like, "Dude, Andy, what are you doing? Quit riding those tires." And he's like, "What? I don't want to get flats." And they're like, "Dude, it doesn't matter. Even if you rode faster tires and got flats and changed those flats, you would still be ahead than how slow those other tires make you. These tires are so bulletproof that they actually make you pretty slow." So, side effect of this little news bit is if you're riding gator skins on race day, you might, definitely for training, hey man, whatever. But for race day, maybe not. Maybe consider something else. I used to ride them on race day until I started learning this kind of stuff. And they make you like 10 minutes slower over an Ironman or more, maybe more. And it takes like 6 minutes to change a tube, for example. I'm not exactly sure on the numbers, but anyway. So all that aside, I thought that the SIPO bike that Andy Potts will probably be riding would definitely make a good Velosurance bike insurance bike of the week, because I had my eye on this bike. I was thinking about getting one, and I got the Trek Speed Concept instead because my bike shop didn't carry SIPO. They carried the Trek, and so I could get the Trek built up at the bike shop under supervision with guys better than me, and then get it serviced there, no problem, in my small town. And that's why I got the Trek instead. But I definitely had my eyes on this SIPO because it has everything on it that you need. So let's go ahead and move from the news to the Velosurance bike of the week, and let's cover this SIPO Viper. Here we go. Polka Dotted, King of the Mountain!
Let's go, King of the Mountain! Come on, let's go! He doesn't know what it is.
He doesn't know what that means. All right, like I said, we will probably see Andy Potts on a SIPO Viper or SIPO Viper R. And again, SIPO is CEEPO. Years ago, they had really cool shaped bike frames that look kind of like Batman would ride it. I mean, they're really pretty and edgy and like really neat. I remember seeing one when the first time I ever saw one, I was like, dude, what is that? What are those? I mean, it was like so cool. They've toned that down a bit, but they have definitely moved in the area of like a perfectly shaped triathlon bike. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this bike, and let me tell you why. So you can go to ceepo.com, CEEPO.com, and look at the 2018 bikes and go to the Viper. And the Viper is white and the Viper R is black. I prefer white bikes so that you don't get hit by a car, less likely to get hit by a car statistically. But you may want the R, and a bright colored jersey kind of takes care of all problems anyway. But let's check this out. It has, first off, the storage box behind the seat post. Thank you. This is not that hard. I do not know why bike companies all have not, triathlon bikes, all do not have this, because it helps improve aerodynamics and it's an easy place to carry gear. So it's like a win-win. And I think I talk later in the show, man, once you get enough wins together, it's like, why are we not doing this for everything? So it's like the cargo box on the Trek Speed Concept, the Quintana Roo. Boom, done, taken care of. I wish it dropped down just a tiny bit lower, or quite a bit lower, to hug the rear wheel, but whatever, at least it's there. Then on top of that, the bento box, and that's your storage area that is behind the stem. The stem is the part that comes up out of the head tube. The bento box is in line with the stem. And so it's shadowed by the wind coming. It's in the wind shadow of the wind having to come around the stem of the bike, and that is nice. It's not a hump. It just looks like it's supposed to be there, and it just looks like an extension of the head tube. And it's a nice long bento box. Looks like it holds plenty of stuff. It's really cool. All right, and then on top of that, the seat post is reversible, which is really, really nice. That's an easy way to move your seat position forward or back. You're in a bike race where they're like, you can't have your seat post that far forward because UCI is still like that. They're kind of weird. The triangle, the frame tubes are basically your regular double diamond, but the rear seat stays are a little bit lower, which gives you both rear seat stays, which is nice, but also makes the bike, because they're a little bit lower, makes the bike look kind of aggressive, like kind of squatty in the back. Squatty ink, get it? But that's nice. Like the geometry is nice. It's very pleasing to the eye. You're like, cool. The down tube has 3 different bolts on it for bottle cages. So you can have your bottle cage up higher, you can have your bottle cage down lower. If you want to fill the lower triangle, the lower end of the front triangle with your bottle cage, that's a nice thing. I do not know why more bike companies don't do that. Why aren't you putting more bottle cage bolts on bikes so that people can put stuff in different places? A lot of people like to fill the bottom of that front triangle with some sort of wedge that makes the bike more aero. The seat tube has 2 bottle cage bolts on it. Sometimes the bikes have no bottle cage bolts on the seat tube. I don't know why. That's crazy. My original BMC had no bottle cage bolts on the seat tube, I think. It was like ridiculous. Like, what the hell is this? Anyway, now I think last year's model had disc brakes, and I'm pretty sure of it. And even the year before had disc brakes on it, which was unusual, and at the time. And now what's really unusual is the 2 models I'm looking at for 2018 do not have disc brakes. To me, it kind of looks like it's not an option. Like these are just regular caliper brakes. The rear one is underneath the bottom bracket, which is a standard place where bike companies tend to like to put those. And why, when when a lot of triathlon bikes are now going to disc brakes, they went from having disc brakes to not having disc brakes on their model, doesn't really make sense to me. So that may be worth, if you're looking at the bike and you want to check into that some more, you could dig into that and find out what's going on with that. Now we get into the big difference between the Viper and the Viper R. It's kind of hard to describe. The Viper has regular triathlon bars on the front, nothing special. I mean, it looks nice and everything. But then the Viper R has the, I believe it's probably the profile design one. It's got this vertical wedge, aero bottle that's kind of like part of the frame. And the Canyon has this, for example, and it works pretty well for certain people. John Verdino. And the, I don't know what I think of it. I wonder if it affects stability. And then now you can't put an aero bottle between your arms. But again, you don't have to get the R. You can just get the regular old SIPO and then get the water bottle between your arms if you feel like. It's just kind of interesting that that now we're having to decide, and it's like these are good problems to have. Do you want the aero bottle? Do you want the water bottle between your arms, or do you want it as this super thin wedge as part of the frame? Now, what I don't like personally, because I'm in Texas where it's hot, and if you're someplace where it's hot too, I do not like having my my fluids in black containers. It just heats them up, and I do not need my fluids any hotter than they already are in July in Texas, and you probably don't want that either. And these things come, so far as what I can tell, this wedge aero bottle on the SIPO R is black. I'd rather see a clear one, but then that wouldn't be as pretty. And if you live somewhere where it's not as hot as here, you may not view that as a problem anyway. But all in all, this bike is really, really attractive. It's a really, really cool bike. And yeah, man, once you throw some Zip 808s on that sucker, wow, man, very, very cool. So that is it for our Velosurance bike insurance bike of the week. And if you have bikes that you want to take extra special care of, oh, wait, we should back up. Let's start watching races to see if Andy Potts shows up on one of these and starts racing on it. That's a cool thing to kind of keep your eye on, something interesting as his race season unfolds this spring, and something that we can wish Andy good luck on. Cool. I like Andy. He's a nice guy. Anyway, we should mention the sponsor of the week, Velosurance, sponsored bike of the week, Velosurance Bike Insurance. They are a full-service bike insurance company. So have you ever tried to talk to your homeowner's insurance about insuring your bike? I have hardly ever talked to somebody that knows less about bikes than my homeowner insurance agent guy. And that's not his fault. That's normal, right? That's not his business. That's not what he's in. But Velosurance Bike Insurance is run by cyclists. So when you say, I've got a race bike, and the insurance agent is not going to say, what is that worth? Like $100, like $300, or whoa, maybe like 500. And then you go, no, like they start at like $5,000 for some of these more expensive bikes. And they go, well, we can't insure that. That's ridiculous, right? You ever had or heard stories from somebody that wrecked their bike, their really expensive race bike, and broke the frame or something like that, or got stolen, and then they're trying to talk to their insurance agent about getting it replaced, and the insurance agent won't believe them about how much the bike costs? That happened to a friend of mine, by the way, and his roommate was an insurance adjuster, and still the two of them together could not talk to this other insurance agent, and explain to him that, no, this is not a $400 bike. So Dave at velosurance.com is your email address to get in touch with. And he will give you quotes on what you want to do with your bike. They do things like travel, back of your car, racing, training, pretty much everything that you do as a real cyclist on a real bike. Velosurance has some pricing for you on how much it costs. And then if anything ever happens, you are actually talking to cyclists that run the company. Okay. And the whole point of insurance is so that you can replace the item that is damaged or destroyed or stolen as soon as possible with the least amount of out-of-pocket money. When I got my Trek Speed Concept, that was a lot of money. And I was like, oh my gosh, if something happened to this bike, I would be out of a triathlon bike say I'm driving down the road and it falls off the back of my car. I would be out of a triathlon bike, and I would have no way of getting, I have no money. I just spent all my money on this thing. I'd have no way to get a replacement bike. And then my whole life revolves around triathlon. I love triathlon, but now I have no tri bike, and I got no hope of getting another one in the future because it's all just gone. And then my homeowner's insurance isn't going to cover it. Right, or my car insurance isn't going to cover it because they're like, that's not your car. That's something you were carrying on the back of your car. That's your problem, right? Or you were riding your bike and you crashed it and it's broken. You were racing. You ever try to talk to a car insurance company and then explain to them that your car was damaged because you were racing it? And what do they tell you? They go, dude, that's your fault. That's your problem. So a lot of companies that aren't cycling insurance companies, would say, you were racing your bike? That's your problem. That's stupid. And she's like, but it's a race bike. That's what it's for. And they're like, still, sorry, no, not going to cover it. All right, so again, get in touch with velosurance.com. Email dave@velosurance.com, and he will give you quotes on what you're looking for. All right. Okay, enough of that. Oh, my gosh. We got to get on to the rest of the show. Like I said, we got disc wheels, water bottles, heart rate straps, and probably even more on the back end of it. Maybe I'll detail my current madness on how I'm running 50 miles a week. My current scheme. Maybe I'll put it on. Okay? But let's go ahead and get going with the rest of the show. Here we go.
You are entering the ZenTri training log zone. Kuneli.
Hi everybody, my name's Brett. I'm a triathlete.
I decided it's time I got some friends more suited to my status.
But Joe, we've been friends for years.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Come on, dudes, let's go exercise! Exercise! Yeah! I'm gonna do sit-ups till I poop myself!
All right, let's take a minute here and discuss why recently I have foregone the heart rate strap, using heart rate during workouts. And you might want to as well if you find yourself in a similar situation. And what I realized is that I've been doing endurance training for quite a while, and I'm aerobically fine. Aerobically, I'm in shape. And also, I've hit a plateau in performance. We all hit some point where we stop improving. And I have, for forever, been using heart rate. And at times it's nice, to leave the heart rate behind. But usually I don't use it more of by accident than on purpose. With many things in triathlon I've learned, and then also it turns out, and I've transferred that over to life, which is the whole Zen in the Art of Triathlon point, is when an opportunity presents itself to forego something, then forego it and just kind of experiment and see what happens. So I'm out. Oh, yes. No, it wasn't yesterday. A couple days ago, I was on a bike ride. Oh my gosh, I'm off. I was going for a swim, and I realized I left my Garmin watch to record my swim at the house. And so I decided, just to swim without any kind of numbers or anything. I don't know how far I went or anything like that. And so also that works really well for fasting to help your metabolism, which is, after a workout, I forgot to bring some food to eat, and I've got a meeting and such for a while. So to help the fat burning metabolism, just don't eat and don't worry about it. And it's not It's not all the time. It's just the situation presents itself, and to take advantage of it. No big deal. I've got some jingling over here. I've got a metal rod to work on some bamboo. Oh, it's set up a frequency. Let me see if I can change it. Hold on a second. Oh no. Anyway, we'll see how long that lasts. I stopped using my heart rate monitor for a workout or two. Just wasn't thinking that much about it. And then noticed something, that I was actually having better workouts and going harder than before. And I was enjoying it. And it made me think that the situation that I'm in, where I've plateaued in performance, aerobically I'm fine, and in fact the heart rate monitor can become kind of a leash on you. It becomes such a habit to say, well, I'm going, zone 2, got to stay zone 2 because it's safe, and don't push it too hard. And if you just ditch the heart rate monitor, it depends on your personality. Got somebody trying to lurch out in front of me. Then maybe you'll actually go a little bit too hard. But that's the point, is maybe you do need to go a little bit too hard. And if you're in this situation, like I was describing, that you might be in too. Let's say you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, or you're new to the podcast, but you've been doing long distance endurance stuff for a long time. You've probably settled in to just easy workouts, and you've plateaued. And to push through the plateau and improve, to do some workouts a little bit harder. And with that heart rate number, it can go one of two ways, and it's not always the same. It depends on that day. You could see that number and say, oh, that's going too hard. Sometimes you can use that number to tell yourself to go harder. I've done that in races where it's getting to be the last couple miles on a 70.3 half Ironman is a really good example. Galveston's a really good one. The last mile, I try to go see if I could max out my heart rate, right? If everything else is all right. See if I can max out my heart rate. And if I know my max is, like 180, 175, and I'm only at 150, I know there's more room. You can go harder, right? But anyway, I found that by recently taking off the heart rate strap, and on my runs and on my bikes, that I'm actually the other metrics, like the average speeds, are higher, and I'm going harder, and I'm enjoying it. It's actually really, really nice. So I encourage you to remember that the danger of all figured out. And all figured out is where you think you've got the exact method down, and you need to do the exact thing, the exact same thing all the time. Always run with a heart rate monitor, always swim with your swim watch. And Zen teaches us that the right thing to do is whatever the right thing to do is right now. And with the beginner's mind, you never really know what that is unless you let go and give yourself up, and then dive in and see what happens. And you could come up with a better all figured out that's not quite as dogma. Dogma is dangerous. And dogma means, basically all figured out, this is what you do. A slightly better approach to dogma would be, it depends on your personality, which one you need more. how the heart rate numbers work on you, if they make you go faster or slower, but you don't know unless you experiment. But wear your heart rate strap on long workouts where you're supposed to be going easy, and on your short workouts, don't wear a heart rate strap, for example, right? That's a little bit more wise. And see, then that has you going a little bit harder on your short workouts, and on your long workouts, it has you monitoring. Get it? And that's what it's for, right? Heart rate monitor. It has you monitoring things so that you have a better long workout. Make sure your heart rate doesn't go too high. Because with long workouts in the coaching that I do, I often say in my description of a long bike ride, I say, do not go hard. The distance is plenty of a workout in itself. And to wrap up this little bit, you can think of the Zen phrase, eat when hungry, sleep when tired. And that's a callback to what I was saying a moment ago about the appropriate response. If you're hungry, eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. See? There is no one rule. It's not eat all the time. That would be bad. It's not don't eat all the time. That would be bad. If you're hungry, eat. So it's if then, which is great if you're computer programming. Zen Buddhism is wonderfully understandable by you, because computer programming is just loaded with if-thens. If this, then that. And if you're tired, then sleep. And that's how it works. So give your heart rate monitor an experiment, and possibly ditch it for a little bit, and pay attention to how you react differently without a heart rate strap. If you're used to wearing one all the time, then see what happens. And if you don't wear one but you have one, put one on and see how it changes your behavior. Put it on your watch or your bike computer, your number, and see how it changes your behavior. It's very interesting stuff. All right, that is it. Out, bang. All right, let's take a break from the program and talk about one of our great sponsors, Amrita Bars. Amrita, Amrita Bars. You can get, let's see, what is the discount? I know the discount code ZEN. Get 15% off your order at amritahealthfoods.com on Amrita Bars with using the discount code ZEN. And what are Amrita Bars? Oh my gosh, they are the best. They are a longtime sponsor of ZenTri because I've been using them for a long time. The owner and founder is a cyclist, and he wanted to make bars that actually give you plenty of energy, are healthy, very, very healthy, and go down easily. And he nailed it. He nailed it a long time ago. This stuff is so good. They have seeds instead of nuts, so if you have a nut allergy, they're wonderful for you. They have all kinds of awesome flavors, and they're a bit soft and chewy, so you don't get dry stuff all in the back of your throat whenever you're doing 30 miles an hour and you take a bite of one of these things. The way I eat it is I open up the end of the wrapper and while I'm riding, or sometimes before the ride, and then I squeeze out like as much, a third of the bar, maybe a quarter of the bar, and take a bite, and then drink it with some water. And it's got cardamom in it, and that's a soothing spice that's awesome for the stomach. And it's just amazing stuff. And on top of that, they have really cool kit. They've got some of my favorite actually of cycling jerseys out there, and they got a triathlon kit, cycling jersey, socks, like cycling socks, running socks. They're black with Amrita written across them in this really cool font and color. It's really awesome. So you can get yours by going to amritahealthfoods.com and looking for a place where you check out your order and typing in the code ZEN, and you get 15% off. That's huge. That's huge. All right, let's go back to the show and see what's up. Here we go. All right, we are back, and we're going to talk about water bottles here for a second. I just had a great run, though. I think a 8:13 average pace for 8.33 miles, but who's counting? Man, morning run, trying to squeeze it in, and that's one of my fastest runs lately. Did high cadence, focused on not pushing as hard with my legs and relaxing the upper body, and just focused on high cadence instead. You got to lower the effort, but speed up the RPMs, the rotations per minute, and then all of a sudden you're going just as fast or faster with, weirdly, less stress on the body. Different kind of stress, but stress that's manageable. Anyway, I have a tip about keeping your bike bottles cold on your bike rides, and also a side effect that's actually pretty cool. I've done this before, but kind of forgot about it and never really got into a habit. I'm trying to build this habit because it seems to work. Is getting on the bike, you make a fuel bottle or a water bottle, and then you got to add ice to it and all this other stuff, and you put a little bit of sugary stuff in there. And this also works if you're running on the treadmill and you happen to keep a water bottle or whatever. Anyway, when you're done, put that water bottle into the freezer with a little bit of water in the bottom, like, I don't know, an inch or so, maybe a couple inches of water. You'll learn based on the size of your water bottle what actually works best. And you can, this is really cool. You put it in there overnight, and then it freezes. Now you got a little chunk of ice down in the bottom. And then the next day, when you go to make your water bottle or your fuel for your workout, you go right to the freezer, open it up. You got a water bottle with ice already in it. You feel like it's kind of dedicated to you. Don't put the lid on tight at all, or else it'll freeze and be difficult to open. So put it on very loosely. And then when you're working out, this chunk of ice will break free from the bottom eventually and then float to the top. And now for I typically do your hour on the treadmill, your hour on the bike, you've got a water bottle with a solid chunk of ice in it, which stays cold longer than pieces of ice that you put in there. And also, there's this tip that I've learned and given many times, is to keep your Camelback bladder or whatever you're using in the freezer, and that keeps it from getting moldy and whatever. This works on your water bottle. When you're done with your water bottle and you've put it in the freezer, it stays clean. It doesn't get moldy and gross because it's sub-freezing. No little nasty microbes and bacteria and all that nasty stuff, mold, tries to grow on it. So you can just kind of rinse it out and then reuse it many times before you actually need to clean it. Just rinsing it actually keeps it clean. And then now it's like your dedicated fuel bottle or water bottle for your bike workout. And in the world of triathlon, it's so complicated and there's so much stuff that you need to keep things as simple as possible. Having your fuel bottle located in one spot where you always get it, or your water bottle, or both. I do too. I do a fuel bottle and a water bottle. I keep my fuel separate from my water. Then you always know where they are, where to get them, and it's consistent so that you have nice, consistent workouts. And all you do is you just pull it out, add your water, or add your Gatorade powder or whatever, your Infinite or whatever you're using, and then your salt tabs, and then rock and roll. Isn't that cool? It's pretty neat. I think a lot of us, we open up our cabinet or our drawer or go in the pantry and find the fuel bottle that we want. Is this one any good? Because I've forgotten which one's the best and which one I really like, and it's in the dishwasher or whatever. And Then we got to mix fuel in it or water, and then you got to shake it up and then add ice. How much ice? I don't know. And you can and is it really clean? And you can just sidestep all that by part of your cleanup from your workout is to put your water bottle back in, fill it with, an inch or two of water, and then put it back in the freezer. And then it's by tomorrow, it'll be ready again for your next workout. All right, I got to go into W to the ERK and get stuff done. Talk to you in a bit. Out, bang. All right, let's cover donations and how you can help support the show. This segment is being recorded in my kitchen. You can probably hear the echo of the house. I've got my two dogs nearby here that are wrestling with each other and causing a lot of drama. We might be able to hear them. Oh, you got a tennis ball. Are you going to share? No? Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. Oh, and besides that, I finally got Emily listening to a Zen podcast. She heard me playing one on the car radio, and she goes, "What is that?" And I said, "That is a talk by a Zen master." I just assumed it was a Zen master. She said, "That's really good." And I just wanted to kill myself because I've been telling her for a decade to check these out. But anyway, it was from the Zen Center, San Francisco Zen Center. And I just wanted to mention that because it made me think that I should mention that to you, that it's a wonderful thing to listen to people that are trained in how to think and handle life a little bit better than the rest of us. And you can tune into these talks and it can just change your life. So I wanted to mention that. But let's go ahead and talk about show donations. So you can, I'm going to move around the house so you can hear the effect of moving around. You can help support the show by going to ZenTriathlon.com, and there is a donations link. Let's go in the master bedroom here. Oh, there we go. A little bit less echoey. There's a link on the left-hand side to support the show, either with one-time donations or recurring donations, whichever you want. A lot of people like to kind of subscribe, and I think it's like on just under $4 a month, so it's like $1 a week to help support the show. Or you could do a one-time, single donation. I got one here I'm going to mention, and then I mention your name on the show, which a lot of people really dig, to let the world know that they support ZenTri. And these donations, no matter how big or especially no matter how small, they really do add up, and they help cover the costs of making a podcast. You'll hear every once in a while people try to make a podcast and they go, "I just couldn't do it. It just took too much time." It's very difficult. And they are a huge time suck. But I really do like making them because it's like art. And it allows me to actually make something instead of working on computers all day. And yeah, I can kind of gather these things and put them out there for you guys. So you can go and support the show yourself. Like I said, go to ZenTriathlon.com and go on the left-hand side. And there's those little super easy PayPal links. And let's see, we have Spiros Fetsis and Houston Marsh from up in Canada. What's up, Houston? And let's see, M. Webb. Oh, Zoe's back. Y'all need to calm down. Hey, simmer down now. Simmer down now. Okay, Rick Foster. And I've got a new person, and the name is really interesting. Lex Pulis-Farrow is what I'm reading here. I may be saying it wrong. And then Joseph Dieber, and then we got a one-time donation. It looks like maybe it's from Norway, and it's Troy Forslund. That sounds Nordic to me. Anyway, you can help support the show. Also, God, I hate to be this kind of person, but following and liking or retweeting or thumbs upping or whatever you want to call it. On Instagram, I'm ZenTriathlon, and Twitter, I'm ZenTriathlon. I try to stay away from Facebook because this takes up all my time anyway. Can you hear them drinking out of their bowl? Guys, I'm trying to record a podcast. Hey, stop it. Okay. Now, of course, then the black lab just drools all over the floor. Now, the next thing is another great way to support ZenTri is Hornet Juice. This stuff is awesome. So it's an amino acid mix that you can add to your fuel. And then what it does is it tells the body to start burning body fat as fuel. So it turns you into a diesel engine. This stuff is famous. It works. It works so well. It's absolutely amazing. You do feel like a diesel engine. You feel like a jet engine, but it's not a stimulant. You don't feel all jittery and weird or anything like that. You're just like, man, I can just keep going and going and going. And this stuff is called Hornet Juice, and it's made in New Zealand, and it's based on the Japanese killer hornet amino acid profile that it uses to burn its own body fat to be the longest flying insect body weight to distance in the world. And it's absolutely amazing. It's super cool. And a lot of athletes use it. And if you get some of that, then you are supporting ZenTri, because a little bit it's a tiny bit, comes off the top back to ZenTri for helping them get the word out. And then you get something for yourself, which is really cool. And then also you get something to kind of show your friends. Like, I got this crazy stuff. It's Hornet Juice. Show your friends, man. It's a trip. And yeah, so you got like your perfect storm. You got your 3 factors right there. It's definitely something you should try out. You also get an email from me that says, howdy. The part of Texas I'm from is big on the howdy stuff. And so I think it's funny because I'm not originally from here, and moving here, I'm like, what kind of cult am I in? But anyway, everybody says howdy, and then it grows on you. It's actually kind of fun. And you get an email from me that says, howdy, your Hornet Juice is on the way. It comes from New Zealand, so it takes a few extra days, but you'll enjoy it. And now you have my email, and have a wonderful day, y'all. Something like that. And yeah, all right. So again, PayPal link on the left, Hornet Juice on the right, ZenTriathlon.com, ZenTri on Twitter and Instagram. That's plenty of stuff out there for you to enjoy and have some fun. I try to post a lot of great pics on Instagram. I used to not like Instagram, and now I really like it because it's very simple and very, very anti-troll. And I don't have a problem with trolls though, but anti-troll and just simple and inspirational and pretty. All right, that's it. Let's get back to the show. Here we go. So many years ago, when Kai was a toddler, crawling around, reaching and grabbing for things, and it may have been even before that, when my dogs, and I don't think we had a cat until after Kai was around, and I was on the trainer some. And I noticed that there was a problem where my spinning wheels full of spokes was going to catch somebody's tail or nose or paw, and eventually somebody's little fingers and hands out of curiosity into the spokes, and then cause some bodily injury. And I bring this up because on Instagram, I've been posting pictures of me on the trainer, and recently what I try to do is I try to post pictures of what I'm doing on the trainer to give other people an idea of stuff that works to keep it fun. Whenever I come across something that's really good and really fun, I post it on there. And sometimes Instagram, sometimes on Twitter. ZenTriathlon on both of those, by the way. And I posted this video of 2 dogs and a cat, and Emily's feet actually running next to me on the treadmill. But all of these animals with long tails in the training room with me, and I was on a trainer, and front wheel not moving. And I bring that up because at one point I was on rollers a lot, and now you've got 2 wheels spinning with spokes flying everywhere, and that's where it got really wild. But one, you can train your animals to not get their stuff caught in there, and little kids. But still, accidents happen, and that's why they call it an accident, because you didn't plan on it and you thought it wouldn't. And this was the situation for a while at our house, and then something changed, and I realized I didn't really have to worry about this anymore. One thing is to get off the rollers. I love rollers. Rollers are the best, and I think if you're riding a regular road bike, man, it's hard to beat rollers. I think they're just awesome. They're amazing. They really smooth out your pedal stroke, for one thing, and they're engaging, and they're fun, and they're a challenge, and it makes cycling just really great. And it's a party trick too. And then the other thing was, on the tri bike, I noticed I was spending a long time on my tri bike in the aero position, as one does. Perchance was the style of the times, and with so much of your weight over the front wheel, being on rollers really is sketchy on a tri bike. And it's like, yeah, well, who cares if you really wreck on a tri bike? But you're trying to drink and fuel while on rollers or while on a tri bike, and it just ends up being so difficult that the chance for wrecking is greatly amplified if you're trying to drink water and eat while on a tri bike on rollers. And I was plenty good on rollers. I developed over the years, like I can ride on rollers no hands. All right, sitting upright, I can ride rollers no hands. And rollers are these things that you go Google roller videos for cycling, and you'll see how challenging and difficult these things are. It looks insane. And so I've got good bike handling skills, plenty good, and I can ride one-legged. I'm trying to think of other things I can do on rollers. There's not much else besides that. I don't think I ever got around to doing bunny hops and stuff like that, but I think I tried. But it was just, it started getting kind of weird. But I noticed that my eating and drinking on the bike ride was suffering and it was messing up my workouts, because I was kind of worried about crashing. So that's the whole roller story. So I went back to for tri-bike training, I went back to a regular trainer where the front wheel stationary and only the rear wheel spins. And then at some point, and I forgot why, but for whatever reason, I got into putting a disc wheel on the rear of my bike. And it's just a wheel cover. And I swear it is the coolest thing. It's really inexpensive for triathlon gear. It's $80, let's say. And you can get a wheel cover. You can order it from wheelbuilder.com. And you snap it on to your rear wheel, and all of a sudden you've got a disc rear. And it makes your tri-bike look so cool. And some people say, well, you only leave it on for races and then take it back off again. And you know what? I'm kind of lazy and I'm busy. So I just left it on because, one, it looked really cool. And people are too hung up about worrying about what other people are going to say and what other people are going to do. And because there's a little bit of an idea of man, riding around with a disc wheel on just on a training ride, you look like a douchebag. And that's one, that's other people's opinion. So that's stupid to worry about that. And two, you are riding with what you're going to use in the race, and then you learn how to handle the bike better, because it's not bad, but it is a little bit noticeable, the handling of the bike. Crosswinds are, it's nothing like the front wheel, but crosswinds do kind of push you around. And so it's nice to know how to handle it. And it's kind of a pain to get the disc wheel cover put on and off again. You got to take off the cassette. I was just like, I'm just going to leave it on and see what happens, right? It's kind of a Zen approach to things. Don't judge, just leave it on and see what happens. And now I ride with it on my wheel like I have been for years, all the time. And I just put it on, leave it on. And then I got a disc wheel cover on. So I'm sitting on my bike with the wheel cover on, and there's I got a dog, wandering around, and maybe Kai, and they walk in, one of these creatures walks into the room, and my immediate reaction is, oh no, I got spokes flying around on this wheel doing 20-something miles an hour. It's going to rip some fingers off. I need to yell at somebody. Oh, don't, watch out, stand here. And then I realized that the disc covers the spokes, and now you have this spinning thing that if you tried to, you couldn't stick your finger in the spokes if you tried. You'd have to really try to hurt yourself. And so it solves multiple problems at the same time. And I thought, oh, this is something I should mention on the show, because on Instagram somebody asked, hey, how do you keep your creatures? Somebody said, I worry that they kind of had set up kind of an excuse, not in a bad way, because we all do this, but a reason why not to ride the trainer. I may be remembering incorrectly, but I would ride the trainer, but I don't want to get my son or daughter's fingers caught in the spokes, right? And if you're not riding a trainer, you are missing out, because it is the best workout. So what I do is I ride the trainer a lot, and then on the weekends I'll go for a ride outside to keep my feel for the road and enjoy the countryside and stuff like that. During the week, I run outside a ton, so I get my dose outside, no problem. And on the trainer, you're getting just these amazing workouts. So you can improve your cycling training by riding on the trainer. You can not worry about getting fingers caught and tails caught in your spokes by putting on a wheel cover. You will go faster in races with a wheel cover on. So now we got 3 upsides right here. And also, you will learn how to handle your bike with the wheel cover on, which is totally easy just to do, and it's fun with your wheel cover on. So that's 4 plus things by leaving the wheel cover on. And then the 5th thing is you will feel badass while you're out riding with a wheel cover on. You will look more pro, therefore you will act more pro, and therefore you will ride more pro, and then get better results in life. So we're at 6 things here of why you should get a wheel cover. 7, it's cheap as far as triathlon stuff goes, and the all these benefits. And the only reason that people don't do it is they worry about what somebody else will say. Right? When it comes down to it, it's a fear. What will somebody else say? Well, this is what you do. You go ahead and put in your back pocket your canned responses. Go ahead and rehearse them. This is how you deal with any kind of fear. You worry about having a flat tire on the bike during a bike race. Well, you practice, go through your mind what do I do if I have a flat tire? I do this and that and the other, and go, okay. So you have in your back pocket some canned responses when somebody goes, ooh, fancy. You got yourself a disc wheel. You go, no, it's cheap. It's just plastic. Another one is, well, this one I got. It sure is windy out here to be riding a disc wheel. And then you say, and honestly, seriously, people, this comes up once a year. I swear. So it's not even anywhere near as often as you would think. But anyway, sure is windy. And then you say, it's just the rear. It's not like it's the front. It's actually not that bad at all. It kind of if anything, it stabilizes your ride. Or they say, oh, it must be tough to handle. And I'm trying to think of something else somebody would say. What you're worrying about in your mind is somebody saying oh, I bet you sure think you're cool with riding your disc wheel. And one, nobody ever says that because that's very confrontational. And if they do, you just shrug. Your other canned response is you just shrug and go, I don't know why everybody's not doing it. It makes you a ton faster, and not just a little bit, but a ton. And whether that's totally true or not, it does make you a little bit faster. And then the other thing is, it's both an upside and a response. It is fun, man, because when you get a crosswind and it starts pushing you, it pushes you forward. Just kind of like a sail on a sailboat pushes the sailboat forward. Because the disc is on the rear of the bike, it actually pushes you forward, and you can feel it. When you feel a crosswind, you can feel a boost of like a mile or two, miles per hour. Your bike, it's got to go somewhere, so it squeezes it forward, and it is awesome. And I grew up on sailboats. My parents used to make me go sailing all the time, and I was indifferent. I didn't like it all that much, but I definitely know the feeling of sailing, and it's the same sensation. And so sometimes I'll go out riding, and if it's a windy day, in a weird way, I reframe it in my mind that I'm going out sailing, because you just keep your bike planted on that white line and the wind pushes you forward, and it's such a boost. It's really, really cool. And then it weighs like nothing to add to your wheel. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about with the disc wheel. I've always been, once I started riding with one, a huge proponent of it. And it's really inexpensive, and I really suggest you give it a try, if anything, to get over the worry about, because it's a legitimate worry that you're going to get tails or fingers, little fingers in your wheel if you're riding the trainer, because you can totally get around that with a wheel cover, and it's good stuff all around. All right, bang. All right, let's wrap up the show. I mentioned at the beginning of the show I was going to talk about my running plan. Always beware of the danger of having everything all figured out, because it ain't. My running plan was doing pretty good for a little while. The plan was, hey, long runs, really long runs, make my feet hurt a little bit. So what if we spread out my running? I'm hitting a target of 50 miles per week. And all right, Chris. All right, I'm back. I just got passed by. I got a phone call, and our heater is out, and it's been below freezing for the past few days at night. A couple days it didn't get above freezing, or it got like at freezing. And anyway, heater guy's on his way, even though it's almost 9 at night. Anyway, after enlightenment, chop wood. After new house, heater break. Okay, I was going to say, okay, what if we ran 6 days a week, took a day off from running? I don't know what you're about to say. What? 6 days is still a lot. 6 days a week running, day off. How many miles a day would I need to hit 50? And I figured it out. 8.3333, so 8.34. And so I was doing that, and I was doing pretty good. Some a little faster, some a little slower, no big deal. And then I noticed something. My feet started hurting. And the reason we're talking right now is because I'm walking, because in the middle of this run, well, just like a mile into the run, I was like, man, my feet kind of hurt in the arches. Not under the heels, but up in the arches, more forward. And I was like, that's plantar fasciitis trying to act up again. So I ran a little while longer, like another, I think, 2 miles, kind of like, is this for real? Because my last run, I kind of felt that too. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk. And it's a good lesson to ourselves. 1, never try to get it all figured out. 2, of course, you should not run so many days in a row if you have the opportunity. I just do not understand how people run like the Appalachian Trail. Every freaking day, running like 50 miles a day or whatever, and then manage to survive that. Some of them don't. I forgot the name of the latest guy that did it. Anyway, 50 miles a day for like 2 months, 3 months, something like that. Anyway, then you really, if you can, take days off and then recover from that. And then also, I figured out, my feet just aren't there yet. I may never be there to be able to do that again. But I did figure out some numbers. And this is for males, and this is for age 44 to 49 age group. But it's generally the same for all male age groups up until a certain age. It's actually slower for 18-year-olds. Qualifying times. You need around an hour swim. You can go a few minutes over, but not much. This is for Kona. And then bike ride. Did I already talk about this? 22.5 miles per hour about at Fireman, Texas. And so a 5-hour bike ride. And then a 3:15 to 3:30 marathon. So like an 8:12, 8:15, 8:30 pace, kind of depending. And that's where the slots lay. Although those were slots before the past year. And in the past year, we've had an explosion of Ironmans with lots of slots given away in Asia. And I'm sure that takes away from a lot of slots available over here and other races that aren't in Asia. But anyway, back to walking. See, I'm doing a 19-minute, almost 20-minute mile, 1950. That was my last mile. I'm freezing my ass off, but I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and it's probably like 40 degrees outside. And I was wearing gloves and a visor, but anyway, so I'm just running. But I slowed down to a walk, and I'm like, well, the cold, probably good for you. Build up a little bit of brown fat. Brown fat is brown because it's got mitochondria in it, because your body's used to burning it. And you develop brown fat by getting cold. And brown fat is good fat. It's fat that turns into energy when you need it. It's more like a storage organ that you can use instead of white fat that's just kind of there and difficult to get rid of. And if you're into ultra running, they walk quite a bit, and walking is really healthy for you. But a lot of people like walk the uphills and then run the flats and run most of the downhills, and they still win the entire freaking thing. And a lot of people have a lot of success going very fast in Ironmans and marathons and whatever, walking the aid stations. But walking is a different movement. The first time I did my first 50-miler ultra trail run, I ended up getting huge blisters on the underside of my feet because I wasn't used to walking. I'd been running, training for the thing, and then walking, you kind of slide your foot and push off differently. And I wasn't used to that movement, and your socks are sweaty, so it creates friction. And I had giant blisters, not the size of silver dollars, but almost the size of dollar bills on the underside of each foot. I had to walk like 10 miles or something ridiculous on my heels with my forefeet lifted up off the ground because I developed such huge blisters. And that hurt really, really bad. So if you're planning for something where there's a chance you might end up walking in it, practice walking in your training, because you need to be ready for that movement. because it sucks if you're not practiced at it. All right, I think that's it for this episode. We got lots of cool stuff coming up. We got some fuel that I'm trying out, a new fuel on the market, which is crazy mad science lab stuff we're going to try out. Kai just got donated to him a rocker trainer, and we got to put his bike on that. I might put mine on there and kind of test it out too, so you get my opinion of it, and a whole bunch more fun stuff. All right, that's it. Everybody stay safe out there. Work the uphills, cruise the downhills. I'm freezing my ass off, but I'm at my front door. Keep the rubber side down out. 4.65 miles.